everyone, welcome back to Catholic Home Life. If you haven't noticed, I have kind of been gone from YouTube for a few weeks, and I have a few reasons for that, and I just felt like I needed to hop on here and explain myself a little bit. So for a while this year, my husband and I were talking about taking a trip to Hawaii, and we just never really got the plan solidified, but finally in September, we were like, we just need to go and do this and make this trip happen. So we got online and we booked our flights and we booked a place to stay, and the trip was planned for like 2 weeks later. So we didn't have much time to prepare, and I didn't have any time to make videos to post while I was gone. But the trip happened and it was so wonderful. We just had a lovely, lovely time. We went to Oahu and we were staying in Ko'olina. And they had lagoons there and the pool was amazing. And we were there for 9 days and we just relaxed the whole time. We didn't really do a whole lot. We didn't do many tourist activities. We just were like, let's just hang out at the beach. And it was wonderful. We loved it. And then we came back and I just was trying to unpack and get back into the rhythm of school. It was kind of like having to start school over again with homeschooling. So that was kind of difficult, but we're getting back into the swing of things. And then this last weekend, my second son, he turned 7 and we celebrated his birthday, and we had my husband's parents, my in-laws were here and my parents were here. So because everyone was here, I scheduled an ultrasound, and I actually haven't had an ultrasound for this pregnancy yet. This is my 5th child. We're pregnant with my 5th child. And so I hadn't had an ultrasound yet. And I'll talk about that in a minute, but I scheduled an ultrasound. I'm about 18 weeks pregnant, and I scheduled an ultrasound, and it was like a for fun ultrasound. And it's this place called Prenatal Universe, and you just go and you can find out the gender of your baby. And they had like a big screen on the wall and couches for people to sit in. So it was a lot more comfortable than squeezing into a typical ultrasound exam room, which is what we've done in the past. We've tried to have everyone there for that halfway ultrasound so that everyone can see the baby and find out what the baby is. So I heard about this place called Prenatal Universe, and I thought that was an awesome option where we could all be there and it would be comfortable and it would be a big screen. And they also do 3D ultrasounds, which we've never had done, and I thought that would be really neat to do too. So last Saturday, just a few days ago, we had this ultrasound done, and we get in there and he puts the gel on my belly and we see the baby right away. Sorry, this is a little fresh for me. So right away we see the baby on the screen, but we notice there's more than one baby in there. So I'm having twins, and when we saw that, we were just shocked, and I could not stop laughing because I don't know. That was my reaction, was laughter. So I just couldn't believe it. So we were like, there's 2 babies in there? And the ultrasound technician, he's like, oh yeah, there's 2. Like, he didn't know that we didn't know. So the whole room, we're all just so shocked. And anyway, it was a very big surprise. And we also found out that both of the babies are boys. So that means that we will have 5 boys and 1 girl in our house. So we will have 6 children in our house in March or maybe February. I don't know. There's really so much up in the air for me now, and so many questions that I have. I will put some pictures from the ultrasound in here if you're interested in seeing those. We had some 3D and some that weren't. So it was just really, really special to see these 2 babies, and very shocking to me that I am carrying twins. So of course, I'm totally thrilled and excited for these twins, these 2 boys, to join our family. But I also have anxiety, especially involving the birth, because my first son, I had a hospital birth with him, and I was induced with him because all of my babies have gone past their due date. So for my first son, I was induced at 9 days late, and I had an epidural, and it was a fine birth. It was a great experience. After my epidural, I got to take a nap, which was lovely, but it just wasn't my goal for birth. I really was hoping that I could do a natural birth, but everything was fine and it worked out really well. But then for my other children, I did some research and I took the Bradley method class for natural childbirth. So for my second, third, and fourth children, I was able to have natural childbirth without any pain medicine, and they were just amazing experiences. With my last child, with Damien, I had a harder time with him because he was 10 pounds, but I still managed to have a natural childbirth with him. But we had all of them in the hospital, and because we were in the hospital, it just, there were just certain things that I didn't really like the nurses kept coming in all night long and waking me up, and like the lab technician came to draw blood from me and Damien at like 5 in the morning, and I was exhausted from labor, and so just little things that I didn't appreciate. So for this fifth child that we were having, I was hoping to go for a birth center and have this baby in a birth center. And I thought that would just be a more peaceful way to go, where we wouldn't be interrupted by nurses all the time, and it would just be more comfortable. So that's what I was really hoping for, and we moved to a house that is closer to a birth center. So that kind of opened the door to make the birth center option possible. So that is the route that I've been following. And when I checked into the birth center and got registered to be there and have my prenatal care done through them, they never had me do that early ultrasound that's usually done around 8 weeks. I never did that. So I never knew that there were 2 babies in there. But in hindsight, I felt some early movement, and that made me think, like, what if I have twins? And it was more of a joke. Like, our friends, our really close friends, they just had twins last year. And then we have some other friends that we just found out are pregnant with triplets. So all of these multiple babies are happening in our circle of friends. And so it's been on my mind, and I've mentioned it many times, like, oh, I'll probably be having twins, but it was never serious. And I just didn't truly think that I was having twins. So anyway, I was very surprised, but my husband, after we found out, he said, well, maybe you joking about having twins was God's way of softening the surprise, so that when we found out, it wasn't such a shock, because I had already been planting the seed and talking and joking about it. With this birth center that I was trying for, they don't take patients that have multiple babies. So that's out of the question for me now, and I will be transferring back to the doctor that I had for all my other children. So I really like my doctor, and I'm happy to be going back to him, but I will be having a hospital birth, and from what I hear, chances of C-section are about 50-50. So I'm okay having a C-section, but I really am hoping that it isn't an emergency situation, because that's where I have anxiety with the unknown. But really with birth, even for one baby, there's so much unknown. Like, you're never guaranteed the perfect birth that you want. There's always a chance that things will go a different way. So I think regarding birth in general, you just have to be open to whatever needs to happen for you to be healthy and safe, and for the baby to be healthy and safe. So now I know I'm just a higher risk. So I will be at the hospital, and I'm hoping and I'm praying that everything will go well, and that I'll be healthy and safe, and that these 2 boys will be healthy and safe. And the friend that I mentioned before that had the twins last year, I was talking to her about all of this and just my anxiety that I've been having these last few days. And she gave me a scripture verse that she said she would recite often during her pregnancy with the twins, and even after the twins were born, just to get her through those early months. And she said it's from 1 John chapter 4 verse 16, and it says, "There is no fear in love, for perfect love casts out all fear." And I really like that. So I think I'm gonna make that my mantra as well for this whole experience. And then yesterday was the feast of St. John Paul II, and I love him. He's one of my favorite saints, and I've talked about him in other videos. He's just so dear to my heart. So I actually came across a quote yesterday that was very similar to that verse from 1 John. And it says here, this is from St. John Paul II. He says, "There is no place for selfishness and no place for fear. Do not be afraid then when love makes demands. Do not be afraid when love requires sacrifice." That quote really touched me yesterday because this whole situation, I'm feeling fear and I'm feeling anxiety, but I know that that's not from God, and that He is the one that has entrusted me with these 2 souls and with my other 4 children. And He will help me get through this situation. And I kind of feel like I'm not gonna be able to handle this. It's gonna be crazy, but maybe that's my opportunity to abandon myself to God even more. And He's always trying to help us grow in holiness. So I guess this is the path that He has in mind for me, and I will gladly take it. So that is kind of my story about where I've been the last few weeks. Hawaii, and then this whole twin revelation happened for us. And also I've just been very tired because of the pregnancy, and before I was pregnant, I was filming my videos during nap time, and lately during nap time, I've been having a nap. So I feel bad because I was hoping that I could make this weekly commitment to share my faith on YouTube and to be putting these videos up about the Catholic faith and our home life as Catholics. And I still want to do that. I still want to put out videos that are about the Catholic Church. But I think my goal of doing 1 a week and doing them always on Mondays, I think that's unrealistic for this season in my life. So I still want to make videos, and I hope to make them as often as I can and as often as the Holy Spirit inspires me. But I just don't think they're always gonna be weekly and they're always gonna be on a Monday. I think that that's unreasonable for me to make that commitment at this point. So I just wanted to hop on here and explain the situation to you, and just to tell you that my posting might be more sporadic. So with that, if you're interested in following me on my journey with this twin pregnancy, let me know in the comments below. Maybe I could do pregnancy updates. I don't know if my viewers are interested in that sort of thing. If not, I do have an Instagram account that I will link down below in the description box, so you can go follow me on that, and I'll be posting more about pregnancy and the twins and things like that on my Instagram account. So I hope you're doing well, and I will be back. I'll be around, just not regularly. And I'll talk to you in my next video. God bless you. Bye.